It's going to be hard to keep up with all the information we have in this week's River Valley Sports Report. I'm Leland Barclay, and I'm honored to host this show every week during the high school sports season here in the River Valley. As always, we're sponsored by Atchley Air, a local supporter of this show and area sports, schools, and athletes. It's safe to say this coming weekend at War Memorial Stadium is the biggest championship weekend in Arkansas high school football history, with 5 state champions to be crowned in Class 7A, 6A, 5A, 2A, and 8-man football. The first time ever that 5 classes will be decided on the same weekend. And on top of that, there will be 4 semifinal games on Friday in Class 4A and 3A. Before we dive into the brackets, though, let's look back at last Friday's action to see how we got here. Walter Woody was at Smith Robinson Stadium on Friday night, where the Greenwood Bulldogs punched their ticket to the big stage in Little Rock with a hard-fought 31-24 win over Benton. Senior quarterback Hunter Houston hit L.J. Robbins with a 5-yard touchdown pass with 11 seconds left to crack a 24-24 tie. Benton had just tied the game with 6:20 left on a 25-yard field goal by Lucas Wilbur. Benton held Greenwood on its next possession, and the Bulldogs punted to Benton's 6. Greenwood's defense forced Benton into a 3-and-out, and Greenwood took over at Benton's 45 with 2:35 left in the game. On the game-winning drive, Houston converted a pair of 4th downs with a quarterback sneak, and then a 30-yard pass to Grant Carnes to the Benton 3 with 40 seconds left. 2 plays later, Houston hit Robbins for the game winner. Class 4A and 3A were playing quarterfinal games on Friday, and I was in Charleston to watch the Tigers completely dismantle Newport in a 42-6 win.
Hit 'em, boys! Hit 'em! There you go!
Charleston's defense was dominating in the victory, allowing 27 yards on 24 plays on Newport's first 6 possessions. Charleston's defense provided the coup de grace on Newport's 6th possession with a sack in the end zone by senior linebacker Wiley Carroll and a fumble which defensive lineman Dale Smith recovered for a touchdown, and a 42-0 lead with 2:44 left in the half. It was a rare touchdown for a defensive lineman, which prompted the flex. Charleston head coach Ricky May had this to say after the victory.
Really proud of the kids. Coach Stewart and Coach Reese and Coach May Jr. had a great offensive plan, and executed it to perfection almost. Defense played their butt off, and just couldn't have played much better.
Yeah, because that's an explosive team, and you guys held them, I think, to 29 yards in the first half.
Yes, sir. We didn't know how many yards they had, but, right there towards the end, I knew they got a couple first downs. But before that, our guys were all over them. And I'm telling you, those are the best 2 receivers we've played. And our secondary did a great job on those 2 guys.
What was kind of the game plan, or what you guys talked about all week about just not letting them have any big plays?
Well, that's what we tried to do. We tried to over and under. Number one, obviously, because, he's really good, and kids did a great job breaking on the ball. Thought we pressured the quarterback enough to maybe not make the precision throw that he had been making to him, and so it worked out real good.
In Class 7A, for the 5th straight season, Bryant is in the state championship game and will be going for its 5th straight championship in the state's largest classification. Bryant has won 52 straight games against in-state opponents. Friday night, the Hornets jumped on Conway and led 35-5 before winning 42-21. Bryant's opponent will be Bentonville, the flagship program in the 7A West. The Tigers defeated Cabot 15-13 on Friday on a 33-yard field goal by Logan Timison with 8 seconds left. The Class 7A championship is Friday night at 6:30. Greenwood's rally over Benton propelled the Bulldogs into their 16th state championship game and against an old foe, Pulaski Academy, for the 6A state championship. It's the matchup we thought it would be all along, since Pulaski Academy was elevated into Class 6A due to the competitive equity factor. Both teams have prolific offenses spearheaded by outstanding quarterbacks, with Greenwood's Hunter Houston and Pulaski Academy's Kel Busby. A lot is at stake on Saturday, since both teams have won 10 state championships, the most during the modern playoff era, which began in 1968. One team, though, will stand alone on Saturday night with 11. Newcomers to Class 5A will play for the championship on Saturday afternoon. Little Rock Parkview dropped down from Class 6A after the recent 2-year reclassification by the Arkansas Activities Association. Shiloh Christian was bumped up due to the competitive equity factor, but it too is a matchup that we thought all along could be possible and maybe even probable. On Friday, Parkview defeated Pulaski Robinson 27-12, while Shiloh Christian beat Camden Fairview 48-19. Parkview's built for power with running backs Cameron Settles and Darius Bennett. As Parkview coach Brad Bolding told Robert Yates, who covered the game on Friday night for the Democrat-Gazette, about the team's offensive style, "It is fun to watch because it's smash-mouth football, and you better have your big boy pants on." We'll find out if Shiloh Christian shows up for the Saturday afternoon showdown with their big boy pants on. One of the most exciting championship games may be Friday afternoon when Hazen and Carlisle meet for the Class 2A state title. Hazen is led by 4-year starter Luke King at quarterback, who just went over the 7,000-yard mark in Friday's 56-16 win over East Poinsett County. Carlisle is led by 4-year starter Josh Sullivan at running back, who's run for 44 touchdowns this year and needs 2 to set the single-season state record for rushing touchdowns. The second 8-man championship game will be held on Thursday night between Izard County Consolidated and Rector. That's going to take us to halftime of the River Valley Sports Report. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsor, Atchley Air, with Gimme 5.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty as the temperature approached 90 degrees. My buddy said, "Man, you gotta call Atchley. AtchleyAir.com. When your air conditioner breaks, they're the one you want. AtchleyAir.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on." The technician showed up the very same day. Got it fixed right and fast, he was on his way. When your air conditioner breaks, you know who to call. There's only one choice. AtchleyAir.com.
Gimme 5. These are the top 5 performances of the past week in the River Valley. Number 1, we always start off with the player of the week, and this week it's Boonville wingback Dax Goff, who made history in the Bearcats' hard-fought 35-20 win in the quarterfinals of the Class 3A playoffs at Osceola on Friday. Goff rushed for 189 yards and a touchdown to eclipse the 2,000-yard rushing mark for the season. Goff has run for 2,081 yards and 27 touchdowns this season to set a single-season Bearcat record. Number 2, Boonville scored the final 2 touchdowns to put away the Seminoles, with Goff running 58 yards for a score with 9:45 left in game, and Marcos Mueller booting the extra point for a 28-20 lead. After Boonville stopped Osceola on 4th down, Trace Hall covered an offensive fumble in the end zone for a 35-20 lead with 4:28 left. Boonville ran for 275 yards as a team and eclipsed the 5,000-yard rushing mark for the season, and now is 5th all-time in rushing for a single season. Number 3, in its 48-6 win over Newport, Charleston defensive lineman Dale Smith provided the big play with a touchdown late in the first half for a 42-0 lead that started the continuously running clock with the mercy rule. Number 4, it's not often that we mention a punter on Gimme 5, but Greenwood's Landon Nelms booted a 49-yarder to the Benton 6 that put the Panthers in a deep hole late in the game when it was tied 24-24. From there, Greenwood's defense held and forced Benton to punt, keeping the game knotted at 24-24 with minutes left. And then number 5, after Greenwood's defensive stop, the offense took over to win it 31-24 on Hunter Houston's 5-yard touchdown toss to wide receiver L.J. Robbins, who was actually lined up in the backfield next to him at running back. The win propelled the Bulldogs to War Memorial Stadium for the 16th time. Check out every day of the Northwest Arkansas and River Valley Democrat-Gazette, where you will get Players of the Week, predictions, top performers, stats, schedule, scores, and capsules. You'll also want to pick up the Sunday River Valley Democrat-Gazette. This past Sunday, we started our basketball coverage and had a full-page basketball notebook with upcoming games and a complete schedule of this week's Golden Arrow Classic at Lavaca and the Bearcat Classic at Boonville, along with player profiles of Mansfield's Allison Edwards and Southside's Yazid Tafaro. Did you know that Allison Edwards' favorite food is sushi? You would know that had you looked at Sunday's River Valley Democrat-Gazette 4-page sports section. Be sure to pick up this coming Sunday's edition for player profiles on, well, I can't tell you that. You need to pick up the paper. You can subscribe online at nwaonline.com and click the subscribe button, or by calling our customer service line at 479-684-5509. Be sure to follow the River Valley Democrat-Gazette Twitter account, as well as mine, Walter's, and Harold's. In fact, Friday night, Walter will be making the trip to Searcy to cover the Harding Academy Arkadelphia Class 4A semifinal game. I'll be going to Rison to cover that big game between Charleston and Rison in a Class 3A semifinal game. You can view and purchase photos from our award-winning Arkansas Democrat-Gazette photographers that can be seen and purchased on our website, nwaonline.com/photo. We're going to wrap up this week's River Valley Sports Report with photos from Greenwood and videos from Charleston from Friday night. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates like this. God bless you, and we will see you next week when we talk more basketball and have a football state championship weekend recap.